Today, I'm going to show you exactly how I build a magnolia from sketch to ink, including how I control line weight, shading, and contrast to bring it to life. By the end of this video, you'll know how to approach a magnolia like this, how to test your nib before drawing, and how to build elegant shading with lines only. And if you enjoy pen and ink florals and want more detailed tutorials like this one, subscribe and stay with me. I have more flower studies coming up. For this piece, I'm working on a simple magnolia branch with one flower starting to bloom and one closed bud. I love this type of composition because it feels balanced without being overwhelming. You have one main focal flower, a secondary element, and just enough leaves and branch to support the whole drawing. As always, I started my sketch with a simple shape, an oval. From there, I began building the petals from the base and upward, almost symmetrically. I always recommend using a reference image when you draw, but even better, if you can, go outside and find your own source of inspiration. Magnolias are actually found in many parts of the world, especially across Asia and America, and they're very commonly used in gardens and streets, so there's a good chance you might have seen one nearby. And since we're drawing one of my favorite flowers, I'll also share a little bit of history and a few interesting facts about magnolias that you might not know. Before I start inking, I like to clean my nibs, especially if they're new or if I haven't used them in a while. New nibs often come with a protective coating, and if you don't remove it, the ink might not flow evenly. So what I do is I add a couple of drops of dish soap into warm water, then let the nibs sit for a few minutes. After a while, I gently rough them with my fingers, very delicately, just to remove the excess of this oil or protective coating. Once our nibs are fairly clean, I rinse them and place them on paper towel. Then, I gently clean them one by one. I also like to air dry them for a few minutes before using them. And just to clarify, I don't do this every single time I draw, but it really helps when the nib is new or the ink isn't flowing the way I want. Next, let's talk about the holder. All of these are deep pen holders, and my favorites at that. The most common holders are straight, and they feel more like a regular pen, which is what I use for drawing like this. Within straight holders, there are different types, as you can imagine. Some are better for larger nibs, some for smaller nibs like this one, and some older ones have a single indent like this one. And others are more universal and can fit different sizes, like the one I'm currently holding. I use different ones depending on the nib, but today I'm using one of my favorites. I don't necessarily use it because of any technical reason, I just love it. I love the design, the shape, and the way it feels when I draw. And I think that that's important to remember. Sometimes your favorite tools are simply the ones that feel right in your hand. And before I start on the actual drawing, I always test the nib. I make sure to draw a long straight line, some curved lines, short shading lines, a circle maybe, and then lines with different pressure. This helps me understand how the ink is flowing, how the nib feels, and how much control I have before I begin. It's a small step, but it makes a big difference. And now that we're ready, let's start inking. I'll begin by outlining the petals, moving from left to right. And this is the ideal way to go about it because this helps you avoid smudging the ink if you move otherwise. And also working from the lighter areas into the dark ones. At this stage, I'm focusing on clean, intentional lines, not too heavy, just enough to define the structure. Magnolia petals are very soft, so I want the lines to feel controlled and elegant. Now I'm going to work in my example petal. This is where I establish how I'm going to treat the shading for the whole drawing. I'm using lines that follow the form of the petal, paying attention to the curves and folds. Instead of randomly filling the space, I'm letting the lines describe the shape. And this is really important. Your lines are not just creating value, they're also creating form. And if you're enjoying this process, feel free to give this video a like. It really supports the channel and helps it reach more artists who love pen and ink. And while I'm working on these petals, and as I promised earlier, I'll share with you a few interesting things about magnolias, because they're very special flowers and definitely one of my very favorites. And this is actually a direct request from one of your comments. Magnolias are one of the oldest flowering plants on Earth. They've existed for over 90 million years, which means they were already around when dinosaurs were still here. What's really fascinating is that magnolias appeared before bees existed. So instead of evolving for bee pollination like most flowers, they were pollinated by beetles. Because of that, their petals are thicker and more durable. They're built to handle that kind of interaction. And I think that that's such a beautiful detail because even though they look very soft and delicate, they're actually quite resilient. Now back to our flower. Remember that some petals need only a few lines around the folds. Some inner petals need a little more enclosure and shadow to separate them from the layers behind. And some areas I leave much lighter on purpose so the flower can breathe. Remember that contrast between white spaces and line density is what actually creates volume in pen and ink. And as you can see, I'm also going to be moving the sketchbook around as I work, because I want my hand position to stay comfortable. Especially when filming overhead with a phone, you sometimes need to rotate the page so your line can still feel natural. Magnolias are native mainly to Asia and America, and they've been cultivated for centuries in both regions. In places like China and Japan, magnolias have been grown and admired for a very long time, often associated with purity, nobility, and inner strength. Over time, they also became very popular in gardens across Europe and North America, which is why today you can find magnolia trees in so many different parts of the world, including Mexico. And I have to say, the varieties you find there are absolutely beautiful. But of course, you know I'm biased. There are actually more than 200 species of magnolias, and they can vary quite a bit. Some grow into large, majestic trees, while others stay much smaller and more compact. You'll also notice differences in the flowers themselves. Some magnolias have big, open blooms with soft, rounded petals, while others are more slender and elongated, almost like they're still in the process of unfolding. Even the variety in colors is simply gorgeous. From pure whites and soft creams to pinks, purples, and deeper tones. But they all share that same elegant, sculptural quality that makes them so beautiful to draw. And back to our drawing. Once I have my main flowers established, I moved down into the branch and the leaves. On my little bud, I made the lines thicker to create the illusion of shadow. And because I added a bit more pressure, you might have noticed a small ink spill there. But don't worry, there's always a way to fix it. You'll see. What really matters is that we learn to embrace these little imperfections as part of the process. On my leaves, I began by marking only the darkest areas. I already know I'm going to come back later and build much more density there. That's something I do a lot with leaves. I don't always finish them in one pass. I place the structure first, then come back with richer layers of line, texture, and cross-hatching. Because for me, leaves are often where I want that really deep contrast. And by the way, do you usually find leaves easier or harder than petals? I feel like they behave very differently, but I'd love to know what you think. Let me know in the comments. And coming back to my big flower, now I can see the whole drawing more clearly, so I know where the darkest accents should really go. This is when I start adding cross-hatching in the deepest areas, especially near the overlaps, folds, and the petal bases. And remember those little imperfections? You can just gently scratch the ink off the paper and keep going. Just make sure the ink is completely dry before you do it. And as we increase the line density in our leaves, let's talk a little bit more about magnolias. In different cultures, magnolias have taken on different meanings, but they're often associated with beauty, dignity, and perseverance. In some traditions, they also represent femininity and gentleness, but not in a fragile way, more in a quiet, enduring way. And I think that really connects to how they grow. They bloom early, sometimes in colder conditions, and still manage to open beautifully. There's something very calm and strong about that. And back to the big leaf, this is where the drawing starts getting that richer contrast. Here, I build texture by increasing the density of lines in some sections, using heavier marks in the darkest parts and lighter, more open lines in other areas. Now, I'm back to my branch, and I add more texture there too. A few controlled marks go a long way. I don't want the branch to compete with the flower, but I do want it to feel believable and integrated. At this point, the drawing is really about refinement. Darkening only what deserves to be darker, keeping the light where it matters, and making sure every area belongs to the same visual language. And as we move closer to the end of this video, let's take a moment to recap. We went all the way from sketch to ink using a dip pen. We prepared and tested the nib before drawing, and then built the piece gradually in layers, starting with contour, then form, and finally adding depth through texture and contrast. If there's one takeaway I'd love you to keep from this video, it's this. You don't need to rush a pen and ink drawing. Let one area guide the next. Establish the language of your lines, stay consistent with your light source, and build your darks slowly. That's where so much of the beauty comes from. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, subscribe for more pen and ink flower videos. And tell me in the comments, which flower would you like me to draw next? See you next time!